Beep boop 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 beep beep boop boop beep beep boop boop beep. Facebook is online. Boop boop beep boop 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 beep boop 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 beep boop 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 beep boop 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 beep boop 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 boop. YouTube is online. Boop 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 boop. Ba-da-da ba-da-da ba-da ba-da-da ba-da 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 boom bum 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 ba-da-ba-dum ba-da-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da-ba-dum bum ba-da-ba-dum. Twitch is online. Boom. Shit. It's 9:45. Oh, welcome to the pre-show. No, wait. That's not the song I want. Boom. There's been something I've been meaning to tell you about the podcast at the end of the town. Boom. No one should ever listen to it. You know it's bad, bad, bad. It gets worse every episode, but the freaking hosts are red. Boom. All right, I think it's just me right now. Shank's out touching himself. And everybody else is being a chicken shit. So while it's just me, I might just type on Twitter. You might just watch me type on Twitter. That'd be kind of funny. Doo-doo, gotta bump the show again. Gotta bump it again. Darling, don't you know you gotta promote the show? Promote.
Okay.
Promote. Don't you know you gotta promo the show?
What do we got to do?
I don't know.
What's the best promo for the show?
I already did the theme song, so I'm not doing it again. Did you ever hear the theme song?
No.
Oh, well, then I'll do it again. There's been something I've been meaning to tell you about the podcast at the end of the town. But no one should ever listen to it. You know it's bad, bad, bad. It gets worse every episode, but the freaking hosts are red. Boom.
Hey, that's how I feel about the show.
Yeah. Oh, last week's was fun. I could do that again, I think.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
He said over a year into being a co-host.
Yeah.
What a fucking loser.
I know. I'm just going to relentlessly vape until this thing dies. That's right, people. Look at your god. A fat, big boy Midwestern son. Thank fuck nobody's watching this part. So I'm just going to drink from... You know what? I'm going to do it on camera, too. Look at that. Whole fucking... It's about half a gallon there. Bottoms up.
Twitch is censoring it as a hot stream, as a hot tub stream.
Oh, my God, hopefully. Wouldn't that be awesome?
The hot new hot tub streamer.
I'm telling you what, man. You got to bring some cameras. We'll go down... Go down to North... I think Virginia. I think we'll make True to come up to Virginia. We'll figure out the halfway point. I'm wondering if it's not like... I don't know. I didn't triangulate it yet.
I mean, the more convenient thing would just be in, like, a place that was interesting. Like Arlington or Asheville, North Carolina or something.
Well, it's got to be somewhere in the halfway point. That way the boys can hang out. That way you, me, and True can all hang out.
Oh, you mean the triangulated halfway point?
Well, that's if we add... That's if we add... Gangsta.
Pimp Master Express.
Yeah. Grandmaster Funk. Because that we'd have to triangulate from Columbus, Indiana, and where the fuck is he at? Some part of the mountains. I know that.
Along the mountain line.
Yeah.
The Great Smokies.
That's actually probably no shit. That's probably going to be somewhere in Kentucky. No,
Probably.
No, you know what? It's going to be in West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
Which, like, just saying that out loud makes me feel really bad for Gangsta, and like maybe we shouldn't do it. Oh yeah, let's go to West Virginia with white people. That sounds safe.
Plus, like, there's the additional problem of there's a section of West Virginia where that I think that it would end up being in that just straight up has no service of any sort.
Yeah.
It's like a designated testing zone for radar and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can't get cell service in it. Land's super cheap in there, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because, of course, no one wants to live there because it is designated as a testing zone. So you will never, ever, ever have cell phone reception.
Yeah, you're never safe. Okay, so we're about right there. I nailed it.
Ha. Got his ass.
Triangulate to meet up. What's halfway.com?
That sounds like a very sketchy website.
Yeah, let's find out. And I don't know, what's he in? Say Asheville. I know that's not right.
I thought he was in South Carolina.
Is he south? I keep thinking north.
It's actually north, and I keep thinking south because he has the Charleston flag or the South Carolina flag.
Hard R Geiger. That's an awesome name. Excellent Twitter. God damn.
R. Geiger.
I always forget which Carolina he's in. I think if it was just one massive super state.
It is effectively until it needs to not be.
Yeah. Murkowski bemoans surge of COVID cases. Decries Nazi references about mask mandate. Aw, Murkowski.
Aw.
You old bitch.
1 second. I have to change my fucking mic settings.
What up? I heard you just fine.
Yeah, you two keep talking. I gotta figure this out.
You
No,
can't
we
tell
refuse.
us
We're now
what to do.
Immediate quiet.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You can't tell me what to do. Yeah, the title should be updated to just the description should just be, oh God, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? This is where motherfucker John Sinclair.
Can you two hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, great. Let's save this.
Or I can just
That
post
does
this.
automatically save.
But the real question is, can you hear my like simultaneous joy and disgust at watching these pimple popping videos?
Oh, you're watching those now?
I love them.
Ah.
No, it's like those compilations of like satisfying work being done where they like fucking spread tar evenly and completely, or they like mow the lawn or whatever. It's like ASMR, but you know,
But
not
disgusting.
quite. Yeah.
Yep, totally. And you know what? I'm a sucker for it. They've got me.
Ugh.
Do I hate it? Yes, absolutely I do. Do I hate that I love it? Yes, absolutely that I do.
I should have put together a master image for tonight's main subject, but I guess I'll just have to dig through our chat.
I mean, whatever you guys want to throw at me, I promise to endure.
Sounds like a terrible way to phrase that.
I know what I said. You all endured.
Oh my God. These people
Joke
just
night.
pulled wax out of these people's ears. Not like earwax, like the type they use for waxing your eyebrows.
Waxing your ass.
Just gotta check your asshole.
You gotta wax my whole asshole.
I gotta get some wax up in that asshole.
Now I'm going to play a Latino man crossing the border. Begin scene. My family is starving. I'm going to cross the border now into Guatemala. End scene. Acting. I am a renowned British actor. My name is not important. What, are you worried I was going to say something offensive?
Well,
Meh.
I mean, would it be
Yeah.
that out of character?
Hey. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The character is offensive or the joke is offensive. I get it. I'm a bad boy.
You should have thought of a more racist version of that same phrase.
Why the fuck would I go for, like, you know what the problem is here? It's not racist enough.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta make this
Not
more
6 of one,
racial.
half dozen of the other. I had to get the N-word in there somewhere.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. What have I done? I posted, man, that one, I'm really depressed that tweet didn't get more likes. That was about my magnum opus for tweets too. This past week I had been on fire like I'd never been on fire before. Gonna eat dinner and jump on with y'all and get on your balls.
What's the whole
I like how John just came on to be like, I'm gonna go eat dinner now, bye.
He said that at like 9:30.
Yeah.
He's here.
He's not
I
saying
told you it was a
anything.
fact. I
Ah!
didn't lie or make that up.
Sorry.
Hey man, you got a stamp?
You
sure.
with it today?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
What else you got?
Okay, fair enough.
I was gonna watch that clip of the Looney Tunes they turned into the Persona 5 Last Surprise. I was gonna watch that clip forever.
Over and over on repeat.
Fuck yes. Happy birthday.
Slowly splice it into a Kill the Kill.
Yeah.
Have have one of the Looney Tunes just shout, "You pigs in human clothing."
Write it like Porky Pig and his family.
You
pig!
Pigs.
I can't stand you. You pigs in human clothing. I can't do Porky Pig. I can't do it.
That's oh, no, not quite.
The fucking pre-show is where we go to be low energy and die on screen.
Oh yes, this is a good one as well.
What? What are you doing?
No, I'm assembling all of the takes
Oh no.
in an image so that I have them for quick reference.
No. Damn it. I wish I still had that letter. I would read that letter again. I think it's funny.
Letter.
It's somewhere buried, I'm sure.
Yeah. The guy who wrote The Government. Yes. That's amazing.
Dude, the whole government's.
The whole of the government.
Fuck you.
The whole of the government.
Eh.
Yes. That's fine. Well, it really is low energy this time. Last time we were off to a pretty good clip from the get go. We're gonna have to pick it up.
Yeah, but I gotta put this together. I'm a little distracted trying to make sure that this is perfect for everybody.
Gotta make sure you do the proper Hitler to us this time. Zizek says,
is that what you view this as?
Yeah.
This is just me being like an absolute tyrant to you?
This is just like last week was the most oppressive thing I could have done to you. This is your revenge.
Yeah. As the driest person here, that was definitely like
hard.
That was definitely a lot to be thrown at me. And now I found the exact strain of this stuff that you just fucking your brain melts at.
Yeah.
So I'm on track here.
I should have named this the Try Not to Kill Dan Challenge.
This is going to go within an inch of your sanity, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm about to be like a Lovecraftian protagonist without the racism. Yeah, you are going to burn through my sanity tonight.
I think I've assembled the primary takes here.
The discourse.
Yeah. Now I have to make sure if he has anything fresh off the stove, and then I'll be good.
I literally that Twitter.
Ooh,
user,
he changed his profile picture. It's whatever. That's funny.
What is it? You know you want to say
it looks like Fallout art. I don't know. I can't really describe it. I mean, you've blocked him, but you can still go and find him, right?
Yeah, he don't know who I am. That's the kind of person who would be like, anal sex is ableism, and here's why. So he wouldn't be doing a homophobia, but he would genuinely like argue that anal sex is, you know.
There you go. I put the Twitter in the main thing, so you can just go ahead and take a look just to see his profile picture.
What is this lame shit?
I don't know. It's fine, I guess.
This is, oh my god. The level of douchebag. I hope, you know what? I hope all of the media memes are just about bedtime. Get out of here. Show me the picture.
He even tweeted about land back, but I won't bring that one up.
Oh Christ, that take. that one from him is going to be like, what if the Nazis were right, but I'm the victim?
We don't have to talk about that particular topic if you prefer. Yeah, even I will spare you that. Also, like
you take ownership of that all you want. Just before you do, give me a chance to be like, I'm not involved.
No, well, you know what's funny about it is that, like, for all of the talk I see on Twitter about it that's like hyperbolic, we actually had a really nuanced discussion about it, even though you're like the king of hyperbole.
Like, you think I'm the king of hyperbole?
No, I mean, in some ways. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic when I say that, but still.
You are literally the most hyperbolic person that has ever existed.
No,
Dan.
I'm not.
It's a discussion that, like, you can't have in a nuanced way if you're also posturing as being a polemic for it and that your point is, like, morally correct. So it just...
Yeah.
We won't actually delve into it just because, like, it's too theoretical as far as I'm concerned at this point. Like, it's so separated from anywhere we're even close to that, like, it just exists as a thing to argue about, basically. And this is separate, by the way, from the organization that is organizing around Land Back. This is Land Back as, like, the broad, like, I don't know, like, moralistic assertion as opposed to like the actual like movement that exists in our world. You know, those are two very different things. And like, yeah, you know, if you want to like say like it's not great that an actual movement by Native people that has like pretty, compared to what it's been exacerbated into, like pretty like moderate goals as in many ways. It's sad it's been expanded into this thing that is just like a place that you posture from, kind of.
Yeah.
But also people who argue against it like argue themselves into the corner of the Haitian Revolution was bad actually because they killed people. So like, yeah, it's not worth getting into. There is a lot of nuance that like can't exist in a realm where you're just like trying to own people.
Yeah. I'm just, you know what I'm doing? I'm going through that
What?
person's comments and just blocking an insane number of people.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd be a block happy person necessarily, but you appear to be.
Shit, yes. I block so many motherfuckers. You have no idea how many people I block.
Mainly because you've been blocked.
That's the number one reason. If you block me, I block back. You don't get to put up a shield wall. If I know you've blocked me, your ass is blocked. You don't get to put up a shield wall where you then try to spread fucking fake friend shit about me. If I know it, your ass is blocked. Turnabout is fair play. Number two, if you're fucking annoying, like I blocked Anarchismus because of the sheer annoyance level of the take. Like every one of their takes is made to make my brain bleed, and I wouldn't like. This is how little respect I have for that person. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the Boogaloo Boys. Wouldn't at all. Would not be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be, because like this is the kind of inflammatory shit that make leftists fight that like the Boogaloo freaks like masturbate to.
It's
like all I do is smell.
I don't know.
I just smell cop whenever I look at that person.
The only thing about it is that there are enough organic tweets that are like in French and like about weird specific stuff that like it. I think it's a genuine account.
That's even worse.
I'm almost positive it's a genuine account. Honestly, there's enough stuff there that like it just doesn't strike me as being fake for the purposes of being fake. People who the problem with making fake accounts, as far as I can tell, is that your choice is to go wide or is to go tall, and it's much harder to go tall than it is to go wide. And what I mean by that is it's much easier to make a ton of accounts that post very little and like stir a little bit of shit up and just, you know, cast a large net, as opposed to like making a few like deep cover accounts that are genuine, because most of the people who put these things together aren't capable of the sort of basically tradecraft that you would need to engage in to actually fake like a persona. And the ones who are like in the fucking CIA, and they're more concerned with like foreign assets than they are with stuff that's going on here. So I actually think that this account's legit, and it's usually pretty easy to tell if something's a bot or not, in my opinion. Anyways, does this condemn me as a bot?
No, but you're wrong. There's a difference between
yes.
being a bot. The solution to abusive families isn't to force minors to spend the first decade of their lives living in a building.
Wait,
No,
you're jumping the shark. You're jumping the shark. That's one of his takes, isn't it?
Yeah, homelessness is good, actually.
Don't. We're gonna we'll jump into that stuff. Don't worry. But the show hasn't started yet, so we'll wait a little bit.
We're cruising
and then
in.
We'll jump in.
We're cruising in. No, I'm here. See, what I did is I just go in here. Stop criticizing me for being a fascist. I'm literally neurodivergent and a minor. I knew it. Yeah, you're a weird fascist. This is another one of those accounts that just make to look. This is another one of those. Like, here's the op, right? Here's the next level op. It's just made to look autistic people look bad.
That's the next level op.
That's the next level op. Autistic
No,
cannot
so
be.
do you think that like, no, an op would be something like make autistic people look so bad that like
The
people
left
are
will
like,
just
oh,
eschew them.
eugenics are okay, like gene therapy's fine because like
Yeah,
that's
I've literally. It's
That-
it
a
literally.
lot. Yeah.
Literally, the takes are, no, it's actually cool to be homeless. You should make kids be homeless and go get a job. You should just kick your kids out of your house.
Those aren't the takes yet. We'll okay. So if we're hopping in, we'll hop in.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay. Let's start with where this discourse originates, or what the discourse is, or where I entered it. And where I entered it was about the subject of whether or not setting a strict bedtime or like a mostly fixed bedtime for your kid is like a technology of subjugation or oppression or abuse, essentially.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What is that?
I'm telling you, man.
You have already melted my brain.
Yeah.
We're doing it. So
We're not even into it. You're just starting with where you started.
yeah, this is the origin point. I saw a couple of mutuals that were like posting like kids in FBI Halloween costumes typing on a computer and quote tweeting this. So I was like, oh, what's this? This is
Hold on. I want to really break Jink's brain. You know what philosopher they absolutely fucking love? Diogenes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. This is
Because like many general philosophers, you can sort of spread that wherever you want.
yeah.
So like
The original actually, honestly, this is probably the person who's most like Diogenes, and this is again why I'm not impressed. It's just being
this is not the person who's
fucking
most
dick
like
for
Diogenes.
being an inconsiderate asshole.
Well, actually, whenever you phrase it that way.
Yeah, this is just asshole to be asshole. Oh my god, trains are bad actually.
So yeah, I saw those takes and like I believe this was briefly part of the discourse like a year or two ago, but it just didn't gain any traction or go anywhere.
Mainly
because it's
absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
And it became sort of a dunking thing that tankies would use on anarchists. And I don't I think I think there's a smaller group of people who call themselves tankies, and then a very broad group of people that call themselves anarchists.
It's so many.
And
almost as to lose all meaning of the word.
yeah, and what I would say is I have respect for some tankies that I know, but I do disagree with them on many points. And the anarchist that is as far into anarchism as a tanky is into like Marxist Leninism, I have less respect for than a tanky, because I think that with a tanky, most of them are pretty well read and have like a pretty good ability to explain their point. If I disagree with it a lot,
They're fairly
anarchist,
fairly enthusiastic. That's a trait that can be both helpful and harmful.
and these anarchists are like, not only do they go above the it's not my job to explain to you meme,
Which is awesome.
they also are like, no, not only is it not my job to explain this to you, what you're talking about is abuse, and if you don't find out more about it, you're abusing me. Like it just enters into a realm that's quite impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Asking me a question is tantamount to these are the left-wing version of the if you are people. That's about the way to sum this up. These are the most infuriating shitball takes.
Yeah, they have very similar brainworms to like libertarians, as it's not surprising to find out.
No,
But
as it turns out, if you have a radically individualistic notion of everything, then everything is fucking fascism.
let's see. Let's
You
start
told me
with
you told me I couldn't wave my dick at traffic and masturbate in public. You fucking fascist. Says every anarchist that's just got the brainworms. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So, to start with the bedtime thing, basically the core of their point is something along the line of, and this is I've never seen this person mention Foucault, but like this just reeks of Foucault.
Yes.
And not that I even disagree with, like, this person, it feels like read Foucault and Chomsky and stopped, and then was like, no, that's it. That's the only analysis I ever want to perform in my life. And I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for Foucault and Chomsky, but like,
You need more.
yeah, you need to like, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
And
What's up, guys?
as we get started, this is the Sons of Trier live stream and podcast when we bother to rip these episodes. I'm
One
Dan
day.
Cohen, the man on the screen who's not looking at the camera at all. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I won't. I won't do it. I'm moving too much Japanese pornography.
I believe the Japanese call it tentacle porn.
They just call it pornography. Like if you had crazy pornography, to the Joker, it's just pornography. You know what I mean?
Oh, that checks out.
You don't need the moniker. How's my hair back there? I'm gonna do this. My hair's going funny. Sweet. I'm joined by John Sinclair.
yes, sir.
And I'm joined by Gangsta Cleasy the Rich,
What's up, guys?
Hey,
the artist, the myth, the legend.
I'll have a new name for. I'll have a new name for you next week.
Name that I'll fuck up and not remember. And I'm joined by Jank Engels.
Hey, that's a self-hating capitalist back for another round.
Back for another motherfucking round. Like you're going to be doing with Joe Rogan.
That's right. I'm ready to fight him.
Get his
honestly-
ass.
I'm amazed that he agreed to fight me
Yeah.
and not the other jank.
I know. You'd think that would be the guy, the one who actually attacked him. It was weird that he challenged you, not that guy.
I mean, I was more than willing to attack him, but
He's
sure.
he's like, you know, he's like, oh my god, that's a really big Turk. I don't know if I could take that guy. My MMA skills might not be up to snuff now that both my lungs have collapsed.
He's so young.
He's so young at the age of 53. Yeah. All right. Now, everybody to my own twisted brand of humor, largely for my own amusement. Fuck. I'm a bad person. So this week, you three get to subject me to whatever awful take you want, and I have to just grin and bear it.
yep.
I get
And
the
this
feeling
week,
like this is going to be a
I
more of a
wasn't ready.
punishment for me.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find something. We can fight about innovation and creativity again if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah. We can
So-
argue over that.
I was regaling Dan and Jenk with the topic of bedtimes and school. School is the more interesting one. Bedtimes are just fucking just being stupid to be stupid.
Yeah.
But the basic argument behind the bedtime thing is that bedtime is what Foucault would refer to as a technology of subjugation, which basically means that like it makes kids feel like they're being observed and judged and subjected to a regime at a very young age, and that those regimes are social constructs, and that subjecting a child to those social constructs at such a young age hampers their development. Which, I mean, that's what I've absorbed it as, essentially. But like, you know, routinely the thing that I run into with this person is that there's just no such thing as criminal negligence. There
That's
can't be. Like,
problem
there's-
number one.
Yeah, there's just absolutely no such thing as criminal negligence in this person's worldview. And like, I don't know. I think that like maybe in our current world that gets used to like be a cudgel against minorities very frequently, and that it's, there's all sorts of problems with our justice system overall, of course, but that like the concept of criminal negligence broadly probably should exist, probably. And I think that like, yeah, you probably do, if you have a kid, probably owe it to them if you're gonna have them around. I mean, you don't have to have them around, I guess, but somebody has to be responsible for the kid.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And
let's pair the other takes, right? Like, let's note the delicious irony that last week we did the identitarian takeoff, which I won handily by using my own identity and status as a victim to leverage for arbitrary moral points by pointing out that anarchismus frequently points out that they are neurodivergent and from a relatively shitty home, right?
mm-hmm.
Critical import that we remember that is the basis for these arguments. It is purely an identitarian reactionary take.
They also had a very bad time in school, as we'll get to eventually.
Well, if you're having a bad time at home, you're going to have a bad time in school. So remember, we are starting from a point of pure reaction. And this is all documented on the Twitter feed, so it's not like I'm making accusations or leaking DMs. Fuck, I blocked them. I can't stand it. Can't stomach it. That's why it's here tonight. And we have to keep in mind that on the basis of victimhood, we're now analyzing all of society through that lens, right? And I want to point this out as well. As far as the technology of subjugation, legitimate point, right? There are social constructs that are used to keep the masses in check. That's just like a thing, right? We can kind of take it prima facie, the practice of the way we have the social construct of work right now, I am curious what somebody who's gung-ho on land back as a moral crusade and gung-ho on school and work abolition and, frankly, pro-homelessness, right? Like, I wonder how they feel about the tribal family or, like, the feudal family or the various constructs within feudalism that constitute a family or the mercantile family, right? I wonder how they feel about those things, because we're only talking about, the subject, the monad only exists within the framework of modern capitalism. So that's the analysis we've got, the victimhood under modern capitalism, and specifically the shitty, like, family construction and social construction that was a school in this case, right? Mm-hmm. Which, again, not that those things don't need to change, right? The social construct of the family has to change in some fashion to move to socialism. Like, that has to be part of it. If you just leave the way the bourgeoisie construction of a family is, you haven't changed anything, right? You're just going to produce more bourgeoisie people and kind of ram them through those remnants of the old bleeding into the new. So you have to think about that stuff, and you have to think about how to reorganize it, right? Whereas, like, most socialists and communists would think, well, one of the things we do is we take the pressures of work off of the family unit, and we have more time with the family unit, right? Rearing children and educating them and spending time, like quality entertainment time with them and things like that, so you spend more time with your kids. Whereas this person says, yeah, take your 4-year-old and throw him the fuck outside. You are being a fascist police state in your own home by keeping them indoors. By keeping them indoors at night when predators are active. That's dumb. That's what a dumb person says. Like,
honeypot.
I mean, it's not even John pointed this out in what was technically the pre-show that, that's probably not a cop. That's probably an earnest take from an earnest actor. It's just literally fucking stupid. Like,
it's just bad.
Yeah. Like, how like, you can call me old fashioned, but like, I remember that bears are a thing. And poisonous snakes and wolves and part of society.
I live in a place where bears are a thing.
Yeah, where bears are a real thing at night, and like, mountain lions and fucking gators and shit. So like, just throwing children outside to avoid fascism is like, Hans Hermann Hoppe, a famous libertarian, once proposed that you couldn't kill your kid, but you could chain them up and starve them to death, and it's basically the same take. Like, the quality of intelligence involved to arrive at that conclusion that, like, yeah, that's fine, is disturbingly low.
Yeah.
So, interjection over. Please proceed.
So, yeah, this is coming off the interaction here, where someone asks them, "What happens when parents want to go to sleep but the kids don't?" Quote: "They should be able to sleep. They shouldn't sleep in the same building. Let kids move freely and squat everything."
Oh, that's the take you're doing? Oh,
Uh-huh.
God.
that was this person's answer, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, that's a." So wait, you're making like a moral point that like they shouldn't
be indoors.
Okay. like 90%? Okay, yeah, like first of all, like 90%
Again,
of
fucking
the time,
stupid.
The point they're making is candy for dinner or it's abuse.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
essentially,
say
like,
spare the rod and spoil the child.
I say spare the rod and the child and kick that kid out.
Yeah, get that little fucker out there. I mean, this person also was like,
let's be honest here. Libertarians aren't going to understand consequence.
this is an anarchist. This isn't a libertarian.
And what?
Yeah.
This
Self-described.
is-
In fairness to the rest of anarchism, this is a self-described anarchist.
Okay. That's like how there's so many so-called socialists saying fascist shit, right?
Right.
Or I call
right.
myself a capitalist.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're kind of like, we're
With
just
no
kind of,
fucking capital.
we're word saling this shit. Like, words don't have a meaning at this point.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Okay.
Let's imagine you live in an impoverished neighborhood where, like,
Just liking the Joker doesn't make you an anarchist.
right. Like, imagine you do live in an impoverished neighborhood, and I want you to go through the thought process here. You live in an impoverished neighborhood. Crime is unfortunately more frequent. Simple petty crime, but crime, right? You want to go to bed because you work in the morning, right? So
But I
your
want
kid's
candy.
like, the kid's like, I want candy, and you're like, I don't know, here's $20. Walk down to the fucking store and get it, right? Under this person's take, you're not criminally. The only person who might be criminally liable, if there is such a thing as crime, is the person who invariably sees a 10-year-old walking the street at night and mugs them.
Hey, you have your Jordan Peterson voice. Can you be in the perspective of the person who jacked the kid, go into the store to snatch the candy?
Well-
and your Jordan Peterson.
Well, the problem is, son, that you're 10 and you didn't
Yes.
bring your firearms to the candy store.
There it is.
So, guess what, you little bitch? You're about to get jacked. I'm gonna need
Sorry,
that 20
bucko.
and your shoes. Sorry, Buckarooski.
run that shit, bitch.
My kids need shoes and $20, and your parents don't give a fuck about you. You want to talk about an abusive home? Like, oh, it's 4 a.m., kid. Why don't you're tired? Grab some liquor. That's what this kid's fucking. Again, I'm telling you, there it
You want the porn on or no?
yeah. you want the
So-
porn or the gay porn? What do you want, kiddo?
Like, okay, let's just because like I think that they are told right, but even in an ideal world, I think this is important.
In an ideal world, you don't protect your kids from bears.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing is that the kid, if the kid's like, okay,
I
you
mean-
want to go to bed, right? And the kid's
Well,
like,
if they
no, I
get
want to stay
mauled,
up.
It's their fault.
Yeah. Well, if that little fucker gets mauled, it's because he didn't do the self-defense lessons I taught him because he was too busy eating candy and masturbating.
You shouldn't have been looking like a fish.
This is one of those people who's like, if you run away at 12 and become a prostitute, then other prostitutes have responsibility to hook you up with Johns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
this is that same
Yeah.
type of weird shit that just leads to like all sorts of gross takes. Like if you're 8, get your ass in the mine. You can fix the heavy machinery. Your little hands will fit in the gears.
Nothing wrong with child labor, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. Nothing. No,
You know,
okay.
but make sure that everybody there agrees independently that they're going to be
Well, there's-
mining.
There's
We're in a
nothing wrong
worse
with child
spot.
labor as long as they form as long as it functions an important part, right? I can't get my fingers in
Yeah.
those gears. That's
Yeah.
why the child labor is okay.
Well, I guess like if everybody's homeless and the idea of the house and the building is okay, hold on, let's really take this for let's really argumentum ad absurdum, right? Let's really go for it. So the house is social fascism, the school is social fascism, the prison is obviously right. So we got to destroy all these buildings. We can't even have remnants.
No.
of this fascism.
Surprisingly, the prison is okay.
No, the prison would not be okay in this person's worldview. I will give them that there is a sickness going on in the skull, but it is a consistent sickness, right?
Good
the
Lord,
workplace-
If they're an anarchist and they start standing for the cops,
Yeah, right. The workplace is fascism, right? So like, you know, when this person says I'm not an and prim, like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what words mean. You're using words you clearly are not. Like, you, if your brain is this sick, you shouldn't be participating in discourse. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Like, there is a barrier to entry, and these
But
are the kind of.
But I'm sure they're gonna hop on and start calling everybody a tanky.
Everybody's a fascist. Oh yeah, not tanky, fascist. Just fat. All of it's fascism. Yeah, everything.
Okay.
Everything I don't like is
Okay, guy.
fascism. Settle down there, champ. World warrior. Like, this is the kind of guy who would have sabotaged like Soviet planes in World War II because they were fascist, and then like when the Nazis came, be like, look at all these fucking fascists. How didn't you fight back? You know what I mean?
Oh, they count the Nazis in the death counts of communism.
Right.
And
Right. They're adding them. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
They
this,
kill perfectly good Nazis.
you killed perfectly good fascists who needed to die. Why did you do that?
You fascist.
My moral superiority. Like I said, I will respect your take. They're not an op, but if this was an op to make autistic people look bad, this is how you do it.
Well played.
Well played. Almost certainly. I couldn't find it in my scrolling because I started vomiting and I had to stop. But I guarantee this is another one of those people who, like, there's no such thing as being smart, right? Like, that's all a fucking myth. And, like, you would have to believe that to be you. Like, you're kind of backed into a corner on that take. That's not organic. That's like a defensive position you need to bunker down in because your misuse of words is so fucking grotesque. Like, if there's such a thing as smart, you can't be it. You're excluded prima facie because you're you. So you have to take that position to defend yourself. So, like, means nothing coming from you. Also,
So I want to reel this back just to the smaller focus of bedtime real quick because I want to present this tiny take on it, which is that I think they're arguing from like, okay, then maybe you're right about like all of these things about what you owe a kid in a capitalist society or whatever, but in an ideal setting where we've moved past that and we've had the revolution, et cetera, we wouldn't have bedtimes. And my only question to that is like, okay, like if telling a kid, we talked about, Dan, you talked about this earlier, where like you have to examine if the act is moral or not, or if the context the act takes place in is moral or not.
Yeah.
So this person is definitely asserting straight up bedtimes, no matter the context, are bad, and they make the point something along the lines of like, well, in an ideal situation, if you want to go to bed and your kid wants to stay up, they'll be able to, like, I don't know, go to some fucking community center and stay up, or some shit like that. Someone else in the community will take care of them. But at a certain point, if no one wants to take care of that kid because all the adults are in bed at 2 a.m., which isn't inconceivable or whatever,
most of us,
no one wants to take care of that kid. Has negligence been performed if they, like, the kid goes off and like fucking sticks a fork in a socket?
Well,
right. I mean,
like,
again, if the kid dies, someone commit, like, somebody owes the kid supervision, right?
Oh man, that's just an externality. Get out of here.
yeah. Excuse me. That wasn't. I didn't think of that in my fantasy world. So fuck you. I never thought for a second. Well, again, like, let's just take it to the easiest one.
You mean in a perfectly spherical world, in a vacuum, bad things happen? No way. No way.
In a
I don't
world,
believe it.
in a world where we somehow eliminated all other predators, who gives a shit? All danger has been eliminated, right? Annihilated. You can't even begin to fathom the conception of danger because it's so safe, right?
No, because as long as humans exist, such a thing can't happen.
Okay, but we're for the sake of I'm trying to steelman this person's argument.
Okay.
I'm doing my best to give them
we've wiped out every other creature on the planet other than people.
And can survive beyond that, right?
Sure.
Which...
But what are they eating?
Not important for the purposes of this verbal conversation, but
Thank
I agree.
you. Yeah, well, again, the numerous flaws that make this unrealistic, I respect. Hell, this is me we're talking about. I find flaw in less. Like, let's face it. If you're going to find flaws in shit, that's literally my job, right? We all agree? So I'm trying real hard to steel man this person. In a scenario where there is no conceivable or inconceivable dangers, no foreseen or unforeseen danger possible, this could work. The problem is that's the world the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, Jesus Christ that they all hang out in. Do you know what I'm saying?
But what situation is there where a kid running in the house isn't at least kind of dangerous? Like, what situation?
Again,
like
I am
padded walls.
I have steel man this as much as I humanly can. Why are you busting on me?
Yeah, all right, I'm sorry.
Drano did nothing wrong.
We are talking about the delusional fantasies of a moron. What the fuck do you want from me? I have by just eliminating all possibility from the equation, then it's fine. The problem is, like, that means we've, like, if you really want to pick me apart, like, what about gamma ray bursts? What about gamma ray bursts? What about a meteor randomly falling from the sky? In my scenario,
But Yellowstone.
but Yellowstone, yeah. Like, I've eliminated those possibilities. All right. Bears gone. Fuck bears. They're dead. Really big deer that could hurt a kid, gone. Fucking poisonous frogs you can get high off of and then trip off of something, that can't happen.
A gentle slope.
Yeah, a gentle slope. Rickety bones. I mean, pick whatever it is. I've eliminated it for this purpose. It can't fucking happen. You can't reach that world. That will never be true. We're always going to have externalities that cause us danger, right? Not even to begin to mention, let's say every person acted the way we want every person to act in this hypothetical, where they're homeless drifters that aren't struggling for survival against a cruel world and have to live in a bloodthirsty.
Homeless drifters.
Yeah, well, that's his proposal, though. Well, I'm not making that up. That's part of the original proposal. We shouldn't have buildings. Like, I don't know, man. I gotta tell you,
not a bug.
If what's that?
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, that's like the goal is like no more buildings for humans. Like, fuck you, man. I want my kid indoors at night where it's like she's not gonna die from exposure. Like, I'm sorry, like death from exposure is not superior to, in your case, what you conceive of as fascism. Like, here's the problem with this take, right? You make fascism look like an attractive option. Everybody should just be a fascist then, because that's how you get buildings and TV, right?
And allow children to survive past teens.
Yeah, the age of 9 from preventable diseases.
Sometimes you just gotta eliminate all the youth.
Sometimes you just have to put the youth through a genetic crucible to strengthen the gene pool of the human race to better survive as hunter-foragers in a post-technological society.
Okay, so now I'm going to move into the meteor point that they make, because that point's much easier to grapple with, since it's really definitely the stupidest point they made.
Yeah, by far the dumbest thing I've read.
Quite dumb.
So, all right, basically...
Oh, you know what? Before you move on, let me make one distinction. If in your particular household, based on your material circumstances, you choose to parent your child in such a way that bedtime is not a thing, that was your decision as a parent to be made. You apparently have a lifestyle that will support that decision making. Have at it, Haas. That's your fucking prerogative.
And they let that kid walk all over him.
Hey, that's not our business. Ultimately not our business until that child is an 18-year-old and they're acting in society of their own accord. It just isn't. That's part of autonomy. Like, that, how you conduct your household is your business, right?
It's a free pass to jail.
Well, listen, ideally the things that get you put in jail post-capitalism are not, like, ridiculous, right? So we're going to presume, for the sake of our argument, of course you're acting in the same way I do. We're not beating our kids, like, relentlessly. We're not starving our kids. We're not giving our kids drugs. We're not giving our 8-year-olds pornography like some of your fucking anarchist peers have proposed, right? We're not putting them in the salt mines.
Just a few cigarettes.
We're not giving them smokes. We're not giving them drugs. We're not we're not arbitrarily over medicating them. We're not just psychologically tormenting them so they're afraid of the world. And of course, we're not being that particular type of vulgar that I don't want to repeat because we say that word too often on this show for my comfort at this point. And it's a P word. And yeah, run your household whatever the fuck you want. It's not my business. I wouldn't personally do that. My kid has a bedtime.
The difference is not doing that isn't abuse. That's the key.
Right.
Like
how you choose to run your household, if it's not within the context of actual abuse, which is a word that has been ruined by these people, these fucking morons. Yeah, you have the right to run your household how you want. It's the same. You know what? It's the same kind of logic. It's very similar to the anti-spank movement, which is used to justify separating indigenous children from their families. And it's used to torment poor people. So, kudos.
If only these savages were more noble.
Well, that's it though. Like the old excuse was these fucking ignorant, coloreds don't know how to fucking take care of their families. But then they got woke and they were like, see, we tormented them so much, they don't know how to take care of their families. That's why we got to remove the kids now. So the action didn't change. The justification went from, overt racism to internalized fucking parentalism over these misguided babies. And the end result is still just governments kidnap children. So, good job, dude. Good job. You way to help the cops.
Solve the problem.
You solved the problem.
The next topic is schools, and I don't have the original tweet that they made about the fact that we have to abolish schools, but this is them quote tweeting somebody, and I'm going to read the thing they were quoting first.
Self-harm warning.
Yeah. Abolishing mandatory...
I've got a gun. I'm going to do it if I got to hear this again. Fucking bastard.
Abolishing mandatory schools as a solution has to be the most privileged take I've ever heard. School is the place many children get their only meal, the place where many children escape abusive home lives. I'm sorry you went to school and you had the ability to dislike it. So they're quote tweeting that, which is it's like saying the sky's blue, like kind of a very normal thing to say, in terms of an assertion.
Yeah.
So anarchismus has 4 points, or no, 6. Excuse me, 6. So 1, anarchists want free food to be provided to everybody, for everyone, whatever they do so.
Pushback immediately. In your society, how would you begin to distribute that? How do homeless fucking drifters acquire enough food for 7 billion people? But continue.
Most of that is just people doing the work they feel like doing would result in that. That is a common anarchist assertion.
Everybody masturbating everywhere is going to result in 7 billion people being fed in distribution networks that cover the entire globe. Okay.
Oh, there will be some distribution networks covering.
Oh, there will. There would be in homeless drifter land. Mm-hmm.
I do think that. Okay, so this is one.
Wait, keep in mind, I want to make another point, John. I'm not attacking your version of anarchism. I am attacking anarchismus' version of anarchism. That's already been established.
I'm not an anarchist, but I do think that point has more merit than a lot of people are willing to give it credit for.
I said in your context, I wouldn't freak out like this. In their context, they don't get to run away from their opinions just because they said something that's kind of correct. No. In homeless drifter land of 7 billion human beings, feed everybody. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
And also,
you don't even have a place to fucking store it. You don't have a way to move it.
The reason I don't call
you don't have roads to move it.
Because, the structures that would exist in my ideal scenario are structures which is enough to fucking make it so that I don't qualify as one, apparently.
Again, your version is not under scrutiny, so don't defend yourself right now.
I know.
I know. That's you making yourself guilty by association. We are attacking homeless bear society right now.
So here's the second point.
I've always wanted to live in homeless bear society.
The libertarians did that up in New Hampshire. It turned out well. And by well, I mean as
really poorly. Yeah.
yeah, to the point where they like ran to the government and begged to have the government come back. As it turns out, bears and human shit do not make a great society.
So here's the next point. This isn't even necessarily true. Kids who can't pay for their meal often have shittier food or even no food at all.
Oh, that's where we're going.
So
Say that again.
So this is about the fact that for many kids, school is the only stable meal source that they have.
Okay.
So this is him responding to it. This isn't even necessarily true. Kids who can't pay for their meal often have shittier or even no food at all. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, the main thing that I would say is that there are places, I think, where they do make you pay, but I think in most schools, at least in the United States, if you're poor, you end up on the I don't see. There are some places like I think in like New Orleans where they like replaced everything with a charter school.
Well,
I
there's
don't know
an
what
easy solution. Have they tried starving?
No, I don't think they considered that one. I'm sorry.
Well, homeless bear society looking mighty appealing. Have you ever tried just starving your children? So it is true that in certain states the lunches are not free, and if your kid does,
shock prod.
yeah, and if your kid does not have money, they do not eat, and if you don't pay up front, the extortion racket, they don't eat. Most do offered either reduced or pay as you go, or almost like a loan system where they bill you later and they allow you to make payments, or free lunches, right? So the school does become an anchor of the kid eating. So this is one of those things where you use just shitty conservatism to then come to a point that's like nonsensical.
Yeah,
best.
this is just a conservative point because most conservatives are like, when people say like, oh, public schools are important because they like provide a place that these kids get nutrition, and they're like, most of that nutrition's bad, or like they don't even get it anyway, so there's no point. And like we should just be like New Orleans.
While they're like actively trying to make the food worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
who is making it worse?
Yeah. Boop 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 boop. Who's making it worse?
Oh, I can only imagine.
White Republicans.
So like
Yeah.
it being like a bad system isn't proof that the system is bad. It's just proof that it like doesn't get enough support. So I don't know. That was sort of bizarre.
Right. We could just fund the schools better and then make the lunches free anyway for everybody instead of, charging children lunch. Like
Okay. So,
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a real world example. Our school this year, because of the COVID, has been like, okay, the kids in this district are probably negatively impacted by COVID because jobs are going away. So we're just going to raise taxes a little bit on those who have jobs. And now all the lunches in the district are free. So if you don't want to buy the school lunch, that's fine. That's less on the budget overall. But if you do, if your kid needs food, we'll give them food. And during the crisis, now they ceased it, which is bullshit. But so were breakfast, and they would even have take-home meals for summer. Largely because a lot of the shit that was like preserved, that could last for a long time, was just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And it was like, well, these kids might need food. And yeah, so it's also possible the district can be organized in such a way that it just, here's meals, here's food. That's on the table.
yeah, the food thing is
People get
is
weird.
definitely
Petty.
Yeah.
The food thing is definitely like among the weakest points. It's like, yeah, no, just like having a centralized place that feeds kids is like probably fine.
And
it's like
it's not
and, like,
It's so powerful that they killed the Black Panthers over it.
right.
yeah, that's a really good point actually.
Yeah.
It's such an important and good thing that like the Panthers were doing it. And by the way, one of the best interactions that Anarchismus had is he quote tweeted a video of Fred Hampton, and Fred Hampton in this video. So Fred Hampton in this video was like, he was talking about another organization that he was criticizing, and this was not an anarchist organization that he was criticizing, but he was saying listen, they really don't have their stuff together. I think their heart's in the right place, but he used some terms from like the 70s to describe stupid people. I can't remember what it was. It was very funny though. And he's like, listen, they mean well, but you know, they're Neanderthals. They don't know what they're doing. They're anarchists. They have no organization or ability to accomplish anything at all. And the thing,
play to your strengths, I guess, idiot.
So the thing that anarchist misquoted was, he was like, well, the organization he was criticizing wasn't an anarchist organization, like avoiding the fact that Fred Hampton had like contempt for people who called themselves anarchists.
Yeah.
And that was like very clear in the thing. So he was just like, oh, Fred Hampton was wrong about this point, but he wasn't, you know.
But he
yeah,
totally
basically
agrees with me,
Yeah.
which is what a dumb person does. You know.
So that's another subject. I thought I'd tangentially mention, but here is the thing. Here's the crux of it. 3, school is usually as awful as abusive families. The solution is to emancipate kids from their parents. Oh wait, sorry. The solution to emancipation of kids from their parents isn't to make them property of the state. So
no, it's to make them homeless drifters.
yeah.
Okay, so we're on point now. We're back on brand. Homeless drifters. Okay.
It just, with that point,
Yeah.
I just, like, I mean, the school that I went to, there were a lot of fights all the time. There was gang activity. It was violent. It wasn't necessarily a good place to be, but also, like, you definitely had the ability to, I don't know, get stability. Like, our school was big enough that if you wanted to avoid people, it was possible. You could ask to be transferred from classes. You could ask to be in a different part of the building. There were ways around, like, having to interact with people you didn't like or whatever. I lived in a dense enough city that, like, if the school was really bad or if there was a situation you really needed to get away from in the school, you could transfer schools and it wouldn't be that big of a hit to you. A lot of the schools were close enough that, you know, you only had to take the bus 1 or 2 more stops, or, you know, you didn't have to go way out of your way to transfer schools. So the notion that, like, if a kid's being abused, like, 1-to-1, that means their experience at school must be bad too. Like, I don't know. It really rubs me the wrong way. I just, I don't know. It's kind of shocking that you could even think that.
Have you
like,
considered being an idiot? It would help.
Yeah. I guess I could do that. I mean, the main thing about it is just that, like, it doesn't take into account the fact that, like, you know, if you're born into an unfortunate situation where your home life is abusive, that is because on some level you were unlucky enough to be in that situation. And
just asked for it. You was wearing the wrong clothes.
And independent of that are the chances of you going to a school where you are abused in some capacity. Now, geographically, these things are more concentrated, but it isn't like a guarantee. So it just is, I don't know. The whole thing is it. Mm-hmm.
We also can analyze and give a serious meaning to abuse again, and then analyze and eliminate abuse, or homeless, I don't know, homeless drifters, I guess. I don't fucking know at this point.
So,
I mean, this is just making my brain bleed. Keep going. Go.
Okay. Next topic. School is literally child labor. In this institution, you are the product molded in order to be an obedient wage slave. So
yeah,
what does that make child labor?
devoid of context is right.
Half of that sentence is correct, and the other half of that sentence is, these are 2 sentences. The first sentence is weird. I don't think that, like, making kids do fucking arithmetic is the same thing as labor.
It is. They're working. The purpose is self-enrichment.
I guess in a very broad sense.
Yeah.
I just...
They spend their labor power educating themselves. That's what school's for, yes. So
and then the wage slave thing is, like, you know, there's I'll say this much. A lot of people would tell you that actually school's more like a prison and that it's less like a factory. So a lot of prisons are molded to be basically factories. So, you know, I mean, of all the points, this is probably the closest to, like, reality or whatever. The next point
entirely by accident. Let's be fair.
schools aren't much better or different than prisons. You've heard of the so-called school to prison pipeline. Yeah, that's a fair point. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's also worth mentioning the food that children get is usually gross.
Oh, that's mature.
Yeah, that's like
That's a decision.
that isn't
that
a
can be
knock
changed.
against schools. Like that's
Yeah.
whatever. That's the thing that's so weird about it is like he's like, well, a lot of the time the food is shitty, so like why are we even feeding them? Which is like why are we even doing this kind of thing? I don't know. It's that strikes me as weird.
That really jumps from like an A is not equal to B kind of problem. Like that's just those aren't the same problem. So like
Yeah.
you know, what in the fuck are you even babbling about throwing that out here, you dumbo?
And then finally, this is the final quote. Twitter sockdems on their way to explain to me why getting strangled by my teacher because I had forgotten my notebook and enduring years of bullying and loneliness because of school was kind and gentle and progressive. So this is again, this is
entirely
where it comes
identity driven. Entirely
Yeah.
number one, entirely subjective and identity driven. Not actual evidence of a systemic problem. Evidence of an extremely piss poor school that clearly, like, and we will accept it as prima facie true, right? You
Mhm.
went to a really shitty school, and that shit needs to be stopped. The counterpoint, right? That's purely anecdotal. There's apparently one really, really fucking bad teacher who needs to fucking don't come back, Jack.
You just don't want kids to go to school.
Yeah, we get it. We get that you're not a school guy. It's okay. You don't have to be a school guy, but come the fuck on. Jesus Christ.
So those are the takes. That's what I got to. And yeah, those are some of the bad takes. I have a bonus take here, which I sent in group chat very briefly. This is a different person. So if you want, this is another one that is specifically the kind that will make Dan's brain bleed.
Oh no.
Suppose you have a 13-year-old child dying of a terminal illness, and who goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and their final wish is to lose their virginity. Is it ethical for Make-A-Wish to hire them a prostitute?
No. No, it's not. That's pedophilia.
Yeah, it's fair.
Are we done here? Like, is that one was easy to shoot down?
That one was very easy, actually. Yeah.
We're just doing.
They're all pretty obvious.
No, doing pedophile shit is wrong, even if you strap a charity to it. I don't know. Oh no! Right in my pedophilia. You know, like this is another one of those things. If you don't want to be called a pedophile, don't say pedophile shit. I don't know how hard this is. Like,
You
Yeah.
consider just not being a fucking pedophile?
yeah, you consider. Did you try not doing a pedophilia? Did you try that? Oh no, that was a pale fucking beyond the pale. Not doing a pedophilia.
All right, I'm gonna close this fucking thing for good, so that I don't have to fucking look at those posts ever again.
Oh, thank God. It's about goddamn time.
This is what you guys be doing on Twitter?
Yeah. Hey, what he doesn't. I just write rants at this point. I just rant about whatever the fuck I want to rant about.
Fair enough.
Y'all seen it. Yeah, no. Any other brain bleed takes you got? You want to hit me with them? I'm still going. I'm still standing, motherfuckers.
That's all I got.
I'm still standing.
Let's see.
Oh shit! No, he's clicking again.
No,
There's more.
No, I won't subject you to the anything else. I don't have any other topics.
You got any more? No, homeless bears.
Unless
are good,
unless you ask for land back, you have to ask for that topic, and then we'll talk about it.
I
But if you want,
I told you. If you really, I can make a public statement on it right now, but I do not want to.
no, I don't have anything. We talked about it, I think, a little bit in the pre-show. We don't actually have any points about that one. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't.
So yeah. No, I don't have anything else then.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Brutal. But I'm still standing, motherfucker.
Mm.
Can't take me down. Can't whoop me with that. I braced. To be fair, next time don't warn me. Next time when I say whatever you want to do to me, you do it. You don't think. In fact, start a secondary chat when it's Torment Dan time.
The Dan chat.
Weren't you the one who showed me that fucked up thing where they like that white woman was like, I'm not my emotional labor or whatever is worth whatever you think my emotional labor is worth.
Oh wait, no,
and that
I
total
do have...
cuck was like, oh, let me just pay you then.
Yes, okay. You know what? That is. We can talk about this briefly. This is about the Bering Strait shit. I don't actually have much to say about this. I think it was just like, I'm sorry that guy, like, I don't know, paid somebody who didn't have an actual point money to like tell them basically that like it's possible some people arrived here in boats. Now, here I actually do. So here's basically how it goes. There's an interaction that goes something like, if you teach or believe in the notion that native people got here by crossing the land bridge known as the Bering Strait, then you're like a colonizer or something.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
Totally reasonable.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find the original take. So yeah, or something like that, or like it was just like somebody who posted like some like rolling eyes emoji thing about the theory that like that's how native people arrived here.
You know what?
So
I did read into that, and it looks like it's been shuttered, honestly. But it changes now. How is it like? What is the difference? What is the difference? Like, what difference does it fucking make to the art? Like, what makes that a colonizer take? I
okay,
guess, is
so
where I'm going
here's
with
the
it.
reason it's a colonizer take. My understanding is that, well, there's two things about it. That some native people don't like it when you say we're all actually immigrants, even native people cross the Bering Strait. And then there's also the idea that it looks like it's possible that, you know, we keep finding archaeological evidence that native people were here further and further back in the timeline than we thought originally, and that many native people might have arrived here via boat, that many Polynesians might have made it over.
Sure.
And, you know, they made it here sooner than thought, and that, you know, that's how they got here. But many native people were like, well, we don't want to actually be thought of also as people who colonized this place at some point.
What?
And yeah, it just basically it's the idea that like there are, let's see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find the thinker who talked about this. Class of people.
I'm just.
Okay. So,
do they think? Hold on, I gotta ask you this, and I mean this question. Like, this is not. This is not a derogatory question. Do these people think traveling is inherently colonizing?
I don't know the answer to that. I wish I did.
Like, do they think if you like go to
Okay.
like if you tour Italy right now, are you colonizing Italy? Are you doing an imperialism?
That's what I actively shout as I travel through Italy.
I am colonizing you.
I am colonizing you.
Yeah, so it looks like
do they not understand what the fuck a colony is?
So let's see. This is some might be adherents to a guy named Vine. I might be butchering his name. Deloria, who was a native person who published a book called Red Earth, White Lies back in 1995, and basically there's a lot of debate about like if he like literally thought this stuff scientifically or if it was some sort of like
Crank take,
mythic poetry kind of like
hot take,
like religious sort of thing. And basically he said something like native people are like evolved from the flora and fauna in the United States or in the Americas.
What?
And that they're like separate from people who came here and colonized here. So some people think that like that's what they're talking about, but then other people think that it's just like they're just making fun of people who are doing Bering Strait theory. There's also a theory, for what it's worth, that native people might have crossed here when there was a larger ice sheet in connecting Greenland and Iceland and Newfoundland and Northern Europe. So,
Okay.
which would be funny because that would mean that.
That it's a white country.
But it looks like all three are possible, actually.
Sure.
All three are probable, from what I understand.
So yeah, it just
the Bering Strait theory. It looks like that there would be a later wave of human migration that would, if all these theories are absolutely true, which archaeological evidence looks like it is, then the Bering Strait folks would have arrived later, but in the terms of like 1,000-year spans and low interaction rates relative to what we consider today, right? Still wouldn't be colonizers. This feels a lot to me like somebody's when they use the term colonizer for this shit. It feels a lot like we're talking almost about Hyperborean myth, or Atlantean myths, or like Mu, or some other weird flat Earth.
You
shit.
mean a group of people's like just moving across, following a natural food path is not colonizing?
No, travel isn't colonizing.
You're telling me that if I just, I'm in a boat and following the kelp highway along with my natural food source.
Jenk, you said the N word. We all know what the N word is, right? I'm going to say it just for everybody's reference. Yeah, that's it. Stop saying it.
Yeah.
Oops, my bad.
Hitler. Marking it down.
So the point that I mean, basically it's just like it either exists as like, okay, if they get backed into a corner, they say, well, people arrived here by boat too, or they say some sort of thing about this Dolores thing about how native people evolved from local flora and fauna, which is ridiculous, obviously, like on its face. You basically have to be somebody who believes in Sasquatch to believe that.
Sure.
You have to be adjacent to that.
We've already got homeless drifter utopia, so like, why not? Fuck it. Let's keep adding.
Or you have to do the most common thing, which is to just be like, it's not my job to educate you.
Yeah, that's the lazy way out, because of course, no, it isn't technically. It's my job to educate you, not yours.
Anyway, that was the extent of that stuff. That's kind of boring, actually, comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, all right. First off, let's take it as the Bering Strait, right? If that's true, then the country is essentially an Asian country. If the Polynesian theory is true, then essentially it's
also Asian
country, right? We haven't really done anything revolutionary here, right? If it's a European country, holy shit, has your plan backfired? Right? Because that makes it what is ancestrally claimed by white folks as white. And oops. So careful what you wish for, I suppose. If we're going to misuse this word colonize, which refers to a political empire seizing authority over territory through military force for exploitative purposes, instead of migrate, which doesn't require the land to be occupied, doesn't require it be unoccupied, but it generally does not confer the same idea. Yeah, fuck it. The other day I colonized my toilet while I took a shit. Fuck it. Let's just misuse the word. Yeah.
Specifically with Dan's toilet.
Yeah, I took a shit at a friend's house the other day. I colonized his toilet. If we're going to use words in a stupid way, if these things don't have meaning, fuck it then. I colonize, don't let me come to your house. I'll colonize your toilet.
There it is. The malicious, ideological confusion of Republicans.
Yeah.
Always rears its ugly head.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna boil it that far down, what do you get? Like, how do you have the stones to sit and call the right wing a bunch of stupid fucks if you can't even get the words right yourself?
I know, right?
Like,
So sad.
yeah, like these things have like substantive, symbolic meaning to represent a set of injustices that has led to modern society, and to advance beyond it, we will need to address those.
How are you gonna champion socialism if you think it's free stuff?
Yeah, why isn't socialism just free shit? Why isn't utopia getting eaten by a bear? Like, why? What gives these words any kind of meaning and relevance? Like, why? Well, why?
Why isn't freedom slavery?
Right, freedom is slavery then. You know, this is infuriating. At a deep level, like God damn. You know, I don't know. As I said before, my land back stance is yes, but it's qualified because I don't know how much I agree with the land backers. Does that make sense?
Not native people, but the people who are the white people who are loudest about it, basically.
Yeah, like everybody named Matilda Swinson, who's like, it's not my job to educate you. You know what, Matilda? You couldn't. I'm sorry. I don't. You're,
And educate herself.
Yeah, really. Like, you have the stones to say that you're going to educate me? That's impressive. You're a fucking moron. This episode has just been Dan is an arrogant cunt, by the way. But I mean, honest to fuck though, like where you the fact, I don't know, the fact that you're a fucking moron and then you're going out there. There's literally nothing different than like the discs I found at the gas station that were like COVID-19 info, truth for patriots, right? There's actually nothing essentially about.
Oh, you found my CDs.
Oh, cool. Those are yours? They're badass.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing essentially different about these two things. This is just a bunch of dummy cranks running their fucking mouths. The difference is the right is like very eager to talk about their stupid shit, and the left is like not eager to back themselves up at all when they're engaging in these dumb, pedantic fucking baby games. And like, good, thank you. Don't back yourself up because then we can run from your position more easily. The less you trench in, the better. It's depressing that you were smart enough to use the words you're using and then misuse them. All these. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, leave me.
Well, I don't have any other takes other than like, instead of talking about, I guess, what our position on land back is, I can tell you about the discourse around land back.
Please don't.
Okay, then I won't. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have to.
Let me sum it up like this: you have the dipshits who misuse the word colonizing and then run in circles, who have a very right wing stance, and then you have their detractors who misuse Marxism to make very right wing points. And as an actual Marxist, it is vomit-inducing to read this discourse. Depressingly so, because this is the left, the Twitter left at least, and we'll say that represents maybe 10% of the real left. I'll be generous, right? Is factionalized into two great camps. One camp draws itself and its power from appeals to right-wing identity politics. And the other draws its power from right-wing class politics. And those are the people you want at the very front of the protest when the cops open fire.
Oh, God.
That way you're not responsible for what must be done. Just put them all out there. Let them lead the charge right into the fucking tear gas. The great thing about these people, though, is like parasitic vultures, they would never be caught dead doing something for another human being, but for making their life actively worse. They appeal to a type of morality that is driven 100% on identity grievance, which, even when identity grievance is legitimate, they misuse it and weaponize it. And it's destructive. It's destroying our brains as a collective. God knows it's ripping through mine right now, and I'm just trying to come up with worse takes for next year. And that game was entirely a means of cope to purge myself of this, so I'm going to punish you all next time. I will defend my championship. Yeah. That's it. I Metaphysician Oot. That's for the Canadians.
It's a boot, right?
For the Australians. No. You gotta keep talking. No. Yeah. I do, one of these nights I want to bust out my Steve Hofstetter jokes. Do you want to end on those? Just to lighten the mood?
Yeah, go for it.
Since this is only going to be watched in reruns anyway. So I don't know if you knew this, but I did try to get on Steve Hofstetter's writing staff. A lot of comics, the more higher up, the more popular and more professional they are, they tend to have a team of comedians under them writing jokes for them. All right, this is not really a big secret. Okay.
Yeah, this shouldn't surprise anyone.
It should not surprise anybody. And that's one way younger comics get exposure, because they made these funny jokes for them. That person then, in a kind of a very machine nepotistic fashion, then puts them before managers and shit, unless they're pieces of shit like Dan Ninen, right? And Steve Hofstetter is a very famous clap median. And a clap median is when you occupy time at a comedy show and say things to make the audience clap like you're some sort of fucking great philosopher, but you're really just regurgitating shit they already think anyway at them and trying to provoke hecklers to scold them morally. Which was my mistake when I wrote these jokes. Here we go, right? Now, yeah, I want you to picture nice... Instead of like black hair, picture red hair, and you basically got Steve. You know, we all do look alike, we Jews. So, it's like a cookie cutter thing. Steve just stands out, right? So, I got this one. Ready? All right. You know, a lot of people know me, and when they see me on the street, they come up to me, they're like, "Oh my God, Steve, I love your stuff. Do you remember me? Like, we met last week?" And I go, "Who in the fuck do you think you are to spend my time and invade my space?" And, they go, they kind of like hurt at that moment. Understandable. I mean, I would be hurt if I heard that. That's how I feel, though, so I got to express myself. And they say, "Come on, man. It's me. You caught me in bed last Thursday, fucking your wife." And I just look at them. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? He didn't like that one. That every week of his life last week was somebody in bed fucking his wife. He didn't like that joke. But this one too. So I'm a German.
Busy schedule.
Yeah, his wife does. I'm a German Jew. That means I drink Manischewitz while committing the Holocaust.
Heyo.
Heyo. He didn't like that one. he didn't care for that. Shot me right down. Yeah. He stole. To be fair, I stole that setup from Dan Ninen. I just thought, this guy's a piece of shit and not funny. So, like, even a Dan Ninen joke would improve his life. I wrote a second version of that, though. I'm German, and I'm Jewish. I'm basically Hitler. Again, that didn't...
Again, heyo.
It didn't get there.
Did not. Didn't like that at all. Did not care for it. It was depressing. I was very hurt. The rejection letter was a bunch of bullshit. To which I wrote back, "Well, I still fucked your wife last Thursday." He'll never know if it's true or not. There's too many people coming in and out of that house.
You operate under the assumption that it is true.
Yeah.
It's just easier at that point.
Yeah. Fuck him. I fucked his wife. Fuck him. I really do hate that guy. There was one comic I wish would get herpes. It's him. Oh no, you know what? I take that. I did write one more joke for him. You want to hear it?
Sure.
People come up to me confused. They're like, What's going on with you, man? You get her straight," and I laugh at them because my penis is 100% for the ladies, but my asshole is for the fellas. Hi-oh!
Okay, we're done here. We done here? I'm about to get out of here.
You can't handle that.
It's all over.
How do you follow
You
that?
don't
one
want
up?
to. You don't want to know about Dan's pussy.
What about my pussy?
I just know this is
I-
devolving quick.
Mm.
You don't have you said you had a great setup and then you dropped it.
Really?
Yeah, it was an awesome opener. You know, no, nothing. You're not gonna do it.
No.
Not even
Do
gonna
what?
try. I'm a little depressed. You're not. Come on.
Do what?
Bring it home.
I don't know how.
You're flying
know
the
what-
plane and you don't know how to land. I feel like you went to the same schools as Saudi pilots. No, he went there. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the towers. Boom. Ah.
Wow. This has been the Sons of Trier podcast.
Y'all have a good night. Bye. We
Y'all
love
have
you.
a good night, I guess. Bye bye.